Hey third graders, Mr. Bell here. Alright, well it's that time of year. It's time for the Butts County Schools Christmas Card Contest. Alright, this contest is open to every student in the county, K through 12 at every school. And it seems a little early to be doing Christmas stuff, but you have to have time to make the project. The Arts Council has to have time to sort through hundreds and hundreds of entries and pick a winner, and then the printer has to have time to actually make the Christmas card. And if yours is chosen as the winner, they will make a real card out of your design, and they send it to over 200 people and individuals, businesses, partners in education, the fire department, Gossett Trails, Zaxby's, all these people that help out our schools, and they get a card. All right, so let me go ahead and show you what you're going to be doing. And this is the three-dimensional looking snowman, or snow lady if you want to make it that. And you get to decide whether you want a hat or a scarf or all that stuff. Just make sure it has a face and some arms. And the main thing about this project is that it has tints and shades. Alright, just like the last project you worked on, where you added white on the side where the light source is coming from. You added white to make a tint. You added black for a shade, and a little shadow. You have your hue. The hue here is blue. You add black to it, it's a shade of it. Add white, it's a tint of it. The hue here is red. Add white, it's a tint. Add black, it's a shade. And that's what you see here. Same thing. You have your tint. There's your hue. And there's a shade of that hue. Tint of the hue, shade of the hue. So this was actually blue. All three of these circles were blue at first. I just added white and added black to them to make them look 3D, to add the tints and the shades to it. Okay, let me show you how I did this. First thing is, let's get a little hill on there. Make sure you leave some room to actually make your snowman, and draw your large, medium, and small circles. You can freehand that, or you can use just a little applesauce cup here, and I'll use this side for the medium size circle, and I have a little cap here from a drink, and I'm going to make that seems a little big, so I'm just going to go ahead and freehand it. Okay, so freehand it or use those circular template things to make your circles. Now, you want to add all your arms and your face and any kind of details that you want to add to this. And I have one that's finished already, the pencil part anyway. So I think I freehanded that big one, but I used this. Anyway, I added some little marks here to make it look windy. Had my scarf going up into the hair like it's windy. Put some snow on my arms, little stick arms, some circles for the mouth, long skinny triangular shape for the carrot nose, eyes. I put like a Santa hat on there. You don't have to have a hat or a scarf on yours if you don't want to. You could put a Frosty the Snowman hat. It's really up to you. And then I drew a bunch of different size circles for the snow. Again, you don't have to have snow in your picture either. You can just leave the circles off if you want and just make it windy, or maybe you have a different idea for the background. You get to be creative on this, and it doesn't have to look exactly like mine. The only thing I'm asking you to do is make sure you have a small, medium, and large circle for your snowman, and you can add some elements to it and make it look the way you want. I do have this extra little line here for the shadow. Okay, something kind of like that will be fine, and depending on which way the light source is coming from, your shadow may be in a different part or look a little differently. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is pick a blue. This is just a regular blue. You might use a blue-green or some other kind of blue, cerulean or something like that, and color really lightly, really super light. Go around your eyes and any details you have on the face. I'm coloring really light. You don't want to go too dark. I've gone too dark a few times with my crayon, and it didn't come out as light as I wanted it to when I added the tint. So I'm really making this like an even kind of light blue all the way around. Be real careful around your scarf if you're in your buttons if you have one. Try not to push too hard. Better to start out lighter than to start out too dark. I'm just going to color all this in. You might be asking, why not just leave it white? Well, this project looks a little more dramatic if you do it this way. I also like to, you could leave yours totally white if you want to. You could leave this side of your snowman totally white also. But I like to go in here and just add a little bit in here. Oops. Inside these little circles. And I go a little bit darker at the bottom edge. I don't know, it just makes it look a little more 3D. That's just how I like to do it. You might have a different idea on how you want to do your sky and what you want to add. We'll leave it light up here, and okay, and then the hill also I start out really lightly. You might want to leave yours totally white over here and then get a little bit darker as you go to the right. Remember when we did the shading, the value scale, so from light to dark. You can do that with a crayon too. Usually go a little bit darker over here. As I work my way over, I kind of go a little bit lighter. Just makes the hill of snow look a little more three-dimensional. That's all. Also, you'll get a lot of marks on your paper, and when you're coloring this, you'll get little bits of crayon. It'll smear and look kind of messy. This kind of helps cover that up if you do this. Okay, so now that that part's done, I'm going to go in with a white crayon, and I'm going to push. I'm pushing really hard. I'm going to go to about halfway, I think. Yeah, around half. Push really hard on the edge because the light source is coming down from this side. So it's going to be darker on this side. That's where the shadows are going to be. You'll see that more as I work on this some more. Push really hard. I'm going to go up, stop when I get around the buttons. Going really careful around everything. Try not to go on the carrot nose or the eyes or the mouth. And I'm going to come over here. And go about halfway. I'll come in here like this. You really don't see the white very well, but if you push super hard on here, definitely. Okay. Tiny bit of blue in this. I'll leave it mostly white with some snow on the arms there. Okay. Now, I'm going to go over here and that's the tint. Now I'm going to do the shade. So I'm going to go very lightly with the black. I like to turn my paper this way. I'm going to turn it sideways or upside down, whatever works best for you. I'm going to get that edge. Black crayon. Really carefully. I don't want to get the black into the outside of the snowman. I'm just getting the edge right now. Alright. A little edge there. Now I'm going to take my crayon and go back and forth and try not to get into this area over here. Small strokes or short strokes. I'm not coloring hard. I'm coloring actually kind of lightly. I'm even going to do this part here. Coloring lightly with the black for the shadow. we go. Gotta check my time. I'm running low on time. And we'll get up here. Along here. This is the shade part. So I'm adding black to the side to get the shade of the color. All right. And as I work towards the center, I'm going to push really lightly with the black. All right. Really lightly in here. Trying to blend it together with this side part. So it's gradual. So you see the value scale. And in here. And be real careful when you get up to the face. You don't want to cover up your eyes and your mouth with your crayon there. Alright. Take a close look there. Now I'm going to go back to the blue. And I am going to go right on top of this with the blue. So we did a light blue, we added the black for the shade, and now I'm going to go on top of this shade with blue again along the edge. We just want it to be more saturated with color. Want it to be darker. I come in here, make sure you're pausing the video whenever you need to, so you can work on this a little bit at a time. You don't want to work on this too quickly. I have to work quickly for the amount of time I have. But you make sure you add some in here. Shadow, and gradually go from dark to light. And in the middle, I'm going to keep going with the blue. Careful around my buttons. And I'm going to push kind of lightly with the blue right here. Value scale. Tints and shades. There we go. Real careful in here. There's a lot of detail. So I have to be real careful. Don't cover up my eyes and my carrot nose. And over here. Anywhere where you need to push a little harder with the blue, push a little harder. And there we go. Tints, shades. Okay? Now, once you have all this part done, then you can get your crayons, markers, whatever, and color the rest of it. Color in all the details, the scarf, the arms, the hat, swirls in your sky, whatever it is that you came up with, that's what you want to color in last. Alright? And here's one that's finished already. And you'll notice, even with my hat, after I colored it red, I added a little bit of white along here. I added a little bit of black here. Went over it again with red. Okay. Add a little bit of black to the arms for a little shaded part under there to make them look more three-dimensional. Okay. Add more black if you need to. Very lightly also. Alright. I even added some white in my swirls on top of the blue that I put there. Even went on top of my snowflakes a little bit. Alright, well, that's it. You've got a couple of weeks to work on this, so take your time, do a great job. If you're interested in the contest, when you're finished, after you take a picture and send a photograph to me, bring it to the front desk at JES and I'll enter it into the contest. Okay, take care. Have fun with this. Bye, y'all.